Chris is in really good form, as you say. Right at the beginning of the game here, Ken has elected to place the second ball in corner 2, and Chris has missed that, leaving quite a decent target for Ken.
Oh, I thought Chris hit.
Oh, did he? You're right.
Yes.
Oh, well, that was a good one to pick up then, wasn't it?
Yeah, very, very nice one. Looks like you should be able to get a rush to 1, I think, or maybe is he live on the ball in the middle? He would be live on the ball in the middle, wouldn't he?
He live on blue. Yes.
Yes. Okay,
so Ken must have started with a super shot blue. Chris's answer was corner 2. Ken missed and Chris hit. Okay, now we're up to date.
Excellent. Chris Grant's a very careful player, but he's there's a lot of decisions you make in association croquet that are sort of based on the shot you've just done before, and what your goal is in the game. And I think Chris is a very considered player, and it'll be interesting to see how his mind works when he goes around the lawn.
Yes, he is. I've played doubles with Chris a lot, and yes, he is. He's always willing to listen to another version as well, and he thinks it all out very, very carefully. And he's looking good at the moment. He's on track to get blue down to hoop 1. With this shot, he'll load up towards hoop 2 to give himself a ball for later, and he'll get a rush on blue to hoop 1. Not the speediest player in the world, as you say. He's very careful. Nice shot. That should give him the rush.
Should be on his merry way, which is a great way to start a game. This important. Yeah, nice and close to hoop 1.
Yes, to get the first breakout's really a nice feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Settle the nerves down. This is a cross shot. This one.
So just one
takeoff can be
one good takeoff.
That's right. And then he's calm and away and through that hoop, and he can relax into it and start, doing what he does best.
With Ken sitting watching from the shelter over there. At this level, you expect the players to complete a break of 9 once they get started. So I hope we haven't done the commentator's curse on Chris. As long as this ball finishes in front of the hoop, he should be fine.
Yeah. I don't curse people too often. I'm happy that I'm willing to back him to make this hoop.
All right, here we go. Beautifully done.
Nicely done. And the rush.
And the rush, just exactly what he wants. He'll be feeling good about that.
I would wager that rush almost guarantees certainly the next hoop with that rush. Yeah, that extra shot you get, it makes such a difference.
That's right. So he's free to load across to hoop 3. He's still got 2 balls near his own hoop. It's all looking very nice. Alan, you mentioned that you'd rather like to be playing today too. I think we all would. Yes,
it's been a tough time not being able to play croquet and missing the social aspect of all heading down, especially to Victoria, where the croquet centre is, where we all get to play at the same courts. It's a real experience that you really miss when you can't enjoy it. So.
Yeah, I think that players all over Australia do enjoy coming to play at Cairnlea.
Oh, definitely.
All right, Chris is nicely lined up, perfect position too. Yes, unusual for Melbourne. It could change, but it's looking pretty good at the moment. As is Chris. just about to land in front of hoop 2 beautifully.
Now, we're coming up to a bit of a poser for Chris. Do you think he'll turn and hit the black, or do you think he'll stay with the red and keep a 3-ball break?
Well, he's ignoring it now. Yeah, I think he will, but he may actually go back to it and use it. It's just a bigger shot.
Might get it after the shot. Yeah. Yes, when
nice
to pick up
for
that
him to
fourth
have the
ball.
option.
It's an interesting. Yes, I usually wait until I've got a really nice, good load, and then I'll go get it. So he might just be waiting for a perfect load before he ventures out to get the black in the corner. He's certainly capable of running a good 3-ball break.
On his way to one back. Yes.
Yeah, he's in no rush.
And another lovely shot. Beautiful load down there to 4, and he's held the rush to 3. Yeah. Get a nice view of some of the other courts from that. Yes. We're on 1, and I see Elaine and Simon up on 4, and I got a glimpse of Andrew Wooten over on 3. We're getting to the more pointy end of the tournament, of the block play at the moment, because the top seeds in each block are all playing each other. Chris taking a lot of care with these small shots. We noticed yesterday that some of the small shots were the ones that brought the players undone. They didn't pay enough attention to them, but Chris pays attention to every shot. And it pays off beautifully. It's a really good example of a 3-ball break, what we're seeing now.
Yes, he's giving himself lots of room to manoeuvre the balls properly and getting great position with his rush line towards the hoop.
Yes, a little croquet stroke now. Pick up the rush down to 4. A lovely load on 5. You can see on the mini map there the positioning of the balls. He has a good load. He's right in front of hoop 4, so there's no problem about waiting to pick up that black ball on the way to one back.
And as Chris's often doubles partner, do you know what sort of leave he likes to usually use? Is it a diagonal or a 2-4 or something else?
He often will do a 2-4. He'll do a diagonal if the first break hasn't been perfect, but he'll do a 2-4 because he has been tripling quite a bit lately. He usually asks me which one I'd prefer, and I like a 2-4, so he can pull that one out quite neatly as well.
That's a good doubles partner.
He is very good as a doubles partner. Of course, in the Interstate Cup, the Air Cup, we now play mixed doubles. So I've been playing with Chris for quite a few years now. Also played with Malcolm Fletcher for a couple of years.
Yes, I think we may have played against each other in a doubles match, or at least on the sidelines once or twice.
Quite likely. We're hoping to go up to New South Wales to play the Interstate Cup again, finally, in 2022.
Yes, fingers crossed. Every border is open and everybody is safe. Wow.
That's a beautiful shot too. Perfect position for the hoop. Good load. Little shot through, and he has the rush. It's all pretty much copybook. Doesn't leave the commentators much to talk about, really, does it? It's just exactly as it's supposed to be.
Yes, it's a compliment to Chris's ability that he's keeping us in our box and not going, oh my gosh, he's in real trouble now, but he's not in real trouble now. He's playing smooth rhythm. He's got the pace of the lawn. So it's good to watch.
Well, that's his second game for the day, and he won the previous game this morning because they started play around 8 this morning. And he'll probably load the blue a little bit to the black ball side of one back to help him when he does the pickup of the black. Look at that, exactly where it should be. Well done, Chris.
It's a very good patient build-up. He does not getting the black too early in his break, and he knows where to move the balls. So it's good to see. Very balanced. And because he's this close, he's able to hit the ball nice and close to the hoop and guarantee the rush on the next side.
So after this hoop, Alan, where do you think that he'll be putting the red ball?
Red ball will have to go down to 2-back, or maybe no, you might do the black. Yeah, normally you like your partner at 2-back when you're setting a leave, but he's not positioned right, unless he rushes into position, which I wouldn't have thought he would want to do. So we'll keep it as a pivot. Normally players like to have 2-back, yeah, but he's going to run it as a pivot. So he's probably prioritising his break more than the exact leave. But Chris has certainly got the ability to move the balls around and get that leave back on track, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I think he's quite capable of swapping the pivot if he needs to, but he can also set the leave with opponent ball at 2-back as well. He doesn't really need to swap for the 2-4 leave.
Yeah, that's right. It's more just a way of using the right ball last. It's certainly easily fixed if you're So how is Simon going in the competition? He's one of the other named players that I thought would be doing well. Is he up there undefeated or?
Not quite. Simon yesterday lost to Malcolm Biddle.
Wow, what a win for Malcolm. That's a good play.
Yes, Malcolm has been very strong lately. He's got a very good, reliable Croquet, and Simon just wasn't feeling it yesterday. He started to get in with a good swing around towards the second half of the game, but just never quite managed to get it together. And then he ran out of time spectacularly when he was setting at the end.
Yeah, there's
Chris
not much
still
room
on track.
to. Yes. Oh, yes. Looks like the blue will be left at hoop 2. Very precise fellow, Chris. He wasn't happy with the ball rolling slightly off, even though it hasn't troubled him whatsoever. He's still not happy with it. He wants that ball exactly in the right spot. That level of perfectionism is very helpful for Croquet.
Yes, Chris Chris is very disappointed if things aren't perfect, but he's not disappointed this morning. He's looking very good. Well, Ken will be sitting there thinking about what happens at the lift. He'll be getting ready because he has one shot when he takes the lift, and that's going to be a very important shot to get into the game. So I think he'll be just getting himself ready there, just trying to relax, concentrate, and just wait. That's the hard part, I think, of this game. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, definitely hard to settle your nerves, but also still stay warmed up and in the right zone to play well. And you know, you just want to get out there and get into the game, but you can't until you hit that ball properly.
But Chris has just 2 more hoops to go before he sets this lead. So he's looking very nice with the lead, potentially 2-4 by the look of it.
You might revert.
You notice Ken standing. Could do. Ken's standing up now in the background. See him swinging his arms there, getting ready. It's very hard to just sit and then stand and hit accurately. So he's getting himself ready, warming up the body.
He's always been quite a good shot, Ken. So you can just see whether he takes a short, more likely hit, or a defensive shot. Chris is playing so well, he might just think it's worth going the short shot. Or he may try and force Chris into a line of play. Okay. Okay, so the 2-4 leave as opposed to the diagonal leave, for people who don't know what a 2-4 leave is we're putting one of the opponent's ball at hoop 2 and the other opponent's ball at hoop 4. And that leave gives you a good chance of starting your next turn with a view to looking at you doing a triple peel. So when we say 2-4, it's one opponent ball at hoop 2 and the other opponent ball at hoop 4.
And now, Alan, it looks like that's not what Chris is going to do because he's put a ball at the peg.
So he'll be doing the diagonal spread, we think. Diagonal spread's about maximum distance, isn't it? It's like giving people no real obvious good shot.
And whichever ball the opponent picks up, if you've left a diagonal, you've still got a ball that you can get to hoop 1.
Yes. It's very important that your leave is hard for them to hit, but also good enough for you to get started if they miss.
That's right.
It has been a faultless break by Chris so far. It's been very, very good.
The last hoop is really critical, isn't it? He's having a very good look around now to make sure that he gets the ball in exactly the right spot. It's not just making the hoop, it's arranging the balls immediately afterwards. So he'll be hoping that he gets, or trying to get, a decent rush to just where he wants to. So he's choosing where he wanted to make the croquet stroke from.
Yes, if he gets a rush, his leave will be an awful lot better. So the blue ball head down near hoop 2, sort of. Then he'll try and put the black ball in a wide position by the peg.
Yes, that's what we're expecting. It's not quite as neat as it was before, but it's just one good croquet stroke to get black up into the position behind the peg. Not quite what he wants.
No.
He'd like to be able to hit yellow onto them.
Yes, if yellow was pointing the other way, it would be easy to set the wire. But he didn't break down, and he's got 9 hoops on the board, and that's definitely worth its weight in gold. And a 4th turn 9 is nice. It's the 4th ball hit on to make 9 hoops straight away. The pressure is right on Ken.
I think Chris is deciding not to try to fit black close to the peg at this stage. He's looking to just make distance between blue and black because it's finished up quite a long way away. So
it's called an old standard leave, I believe. Never quite sure on the exact terms for these obscure leaves.
We sometimes call it the leave you have when you're not having a leave, but it's still just as commanding. If it's not safe to try to place black near the peg, if you can't be sure of hiding it, then distance is the next best thing.
That's right. Ken still has to hit him. So I suspect Chris will roll both balls out from the shot.
Yes. Whereabouts do you think he'll be going? He wants some distance, doesn't he, from black?
Yeah, it looks like red will be right in the corner or just out, and yellow about 1.5 meters forward. Certainly where Mike's standing. Mike will be watching the red ball, I imagine, and Chris will watch the yellow.
Now, looking at that, Alan, we were talking about which shot Ken would take. Do you think this will make him be very tempted to fire the short shot?
I think so. He doesn't give away that much by if he misses, and it's certainly a good option. He could conceivably take the blue and shoot it black through the balls in the corner, but I don't think he'll do that. It is an attacking play to do it that way, but everything he does is attacking. There's no real defensive option. He's having a look at the possibility, get a triple from that boundary line, picking up the blue. If you line this up so there's no gap between the black ball and the red and the yellow, then you should conceivably hit the ball. This is I discussed with some other players. They'll line it up so they can't see a gap, like in the line of sight. Yeah, as you see on the mini map, it'll be all ball, so you can try and get it so you have 2 balls, a black ball and a red ball, in your line of sight, so that you're not shooting between any gap at all. But we'll see what happens.
Well, Ken's obviously considering it, but he's got the spot where he's going to take it. But it's a long shot, and the other shot from the end of A block is a 13-yarder. So there's quite a bit of debate about whether it's good to go for a short single ball or make a long double.
Yeah, and I would wager from Ken's point of view, if he were to hit the black, the break would be a little harder. So if he hits the red in the corner, he's got the ball out in the lawn already. So depends on where he's thinking, whether he's thinking he's going to hit the black or the red. But I'd be, he's definitely going a long shot. Oh, well.
He just got to hit something.
That's right. Great camera angle. Ooh. He didn't miss by much.
Oh, wow. Curled away a bit, didn't it?
It did. I think he was expecting the ball to go on the probably the other side of the black and sort of maybe connect with the red or the yellow, the one on the other side.
Mm.
Might have been just a little flicker of wind or a worm that raised its. Apparently, we're getting a replay of the shot. Second, would be good.
Well, that was the one shot that Ken gets, and now it's up to Chris to see if he can finish from here. He'll probably try to do a triple. Oh gosh, that is close, isn't it, on the replay? Ooh.
That is a fantastic camera angle. The difference between success and failure at this level, it's so unfair, this game sometimes. Because that was a great shot, a great camera shot, and a great shot by Ken, but yet.
And it was so close to being a perfect shot. And it's finished up giving Chris quite a nice start.
Not quite the angle he wanted on his rush.
No. And he is going to load partner to hoop 2, I assume. I don't think he's going to risk trying to put it up for appeal now. So it isn't quite what he wanted.
No, he definitely needs a good roll now to get to take hoop 1. It's a very important shot from Chris's point of view now.
It would have been so much easier for him if black was near the peg, like it would have been with his perfect lead. It's just a bit further away from hoop 1. He needs this rush to go to 1.
Yes, and the load quite deep now.
Mm.
Well, I mean, I guess he probably hasn't practiced this leave as often because normally he's done the perfect leave. So it's hard to get started when you're doing something different. It's got good connection on that rush, though.
Yes.
Bit deep, but good power, though. I thought he would be, at least he's on the right side of the hoop.
Yep, playing side of the hoop. He won't be complaining about that. And once again, one good croquet stroke here, and he's away.
Still got some work to do around hoop 2, but yeah, definitely.
If he can come out of this hoop towards the west boundary, then the shot, the croquet stroke to go to 2 will be okay. So he'll be aiming to keep the black to the left of the hoop.
Oh, it didn't straighten, or rather, it stayed straight. It didn't anything. So now the decision comes: where do you use the red?
Oh, he's going to go up and see. Yeah, he's going up to see how far the yellow is from the boundary. See what the view for black would be if he goes up there. Just guarding the boundary a bit. Ken's on his feet again. He has to do another long shot.
Yeah, well, Chris will be hoping that if he puts his ball in a certain place, that'll force Ken to go the long shot. It'll be less accurate and more likely to keep control.
I don't know if he's got much of a line. Has he got a line on getting past black to where he wants to go?
No, it doesn't look like that by the way. So that's almost Ken a free shot at yellow there down the line. Do you think Chris would shoot at Ken's boundary ball? Like, it's assuming that Ken took a shot at yellow. Would he turn on that ball? It's a tough one. A confident Chris would. But is he confident? He must be pretty confident.
Well, he wants to play red, so that's a longer shot, isn't it? He wouldn't be turning with yellow.
Oh well, Ken's taking that position out and he's going to shoot at his own ball, which is probably the sensible play.
Notice Ken's grip. Ken does use a Solomon grip, but his hands are not near the top of his mallet, and he's very accurate, as we see.
What a shot.
That's a great shot, Ken.
And right in the middle, too.
He has a takeoff from this spot, and he has to be careful not to put the croquet ball out in a shot from the corner.
Which one did he hit? In croquet, you're allowed to ask. You are allowed to ask your opponent which ball you hit. So you're playing with black.
Well, we could tell him you hit
That's
blue
right.
with black, Ken. That's right.
A very wise choice to ask because you're allowed to, and the last thing you need to be worrying about is whether you're playing with the right ball, because if you play the wrong ball, it's the end of turn.
That's right.
Which is very heartbreaking when you've hit a really good shot and you go and play the wrong ball. Especially on live TV.
You have to keep your wits about you, don't you, Alan?
You certainly do. That's why playing doubles is fantastic, because your doubles partner can help you out there. What a great takeoff.
Yeah. That's
blue ball very much all. As long as he's close.
And okay. Ken, you'll see wearing the Australian tracksuit. Ken has played for Australia. Years of experience here with Ken.
It's an interesting approach there by getting the rush to the boundary line with yellow rather than doing the takeoff to the red.
I think this is a standard shot, so he would be playing a shot that he plays all the time. We've got two boundary balls like that. Perfect rush.
Ken often has lovely dolly rushes everywhere he moves the ball around. I've always been jealous of his ability to have that perfect dolly rush almost every time. Ball control is fantastic.
He can do that because, as you say, his control is fantastic, but he also has an amazing ability to rush a ball that's a huge distance from the other one. He doesn't need it to be a dolly rush. He'll obtain a dolly rush with his croquet stroke, but if he hasn't got one, he can rush balls that are more than a yard apart.
That's very unfair. Very impressive. And look at that, rush into the corner ball.
These players are all capable of completing a triple peel. Chris, unfortunately, didn't manage to continue his break, but Ken, if he makes a 9 and Chris misses, he will probably start a triple as soon as possible as well. That gives Chris only one shot.
So I would wager that Ken's up in the top 10 of the most triples in the country or something like that. He'd have to be. He's been playing for a very long time and he's been at the top for a very long time. So
yes, I know Kevin. The figures we were given for Kevin off the ranking site, I think he's completed 500 triples. He's on the other side of the on the other side of the draw.
It really is a fantastic.
the ranking site's very useful for these figures. It's maintained by Chris Williams from Wales, and you'll often be able to look at that and find some interesting facts: who's played who, how many wins and how many losses. And in this case, recently in 5 games against Chris, he's won all 5, including 2 this year. This is Ken, and he's played 1,500 games, so enormous experience. And Chris has played almost 900.
Wow, that's 2 very experienced players. I've just looked up Ken's record, and he's got 299 triples, which is pretty damn impressive. It's a lot of triple peels.
It is. How many have you done, Ellen?
Well, I do know, which is a bit embarrassing, but yes, I'm on. I think I'm on 74 or 72.
Oh, that's commendable.
I'll catch him one day. I know you've done quite a few too. How many have you done?
20 something. Yeah, very low number compared to you guys.
Still, I think a lot depends on when you played most of your croquet. I know that a lot more triples happened when the Fletchers came about, from my point of view. They were doing triples, and everyone else started doing triples because that was the only way to beat them.
Yeah.
The standard went up, you know what I mean, because they were doing so many of them. And if you're on the right timing, you sort of like lift your game.
For the viewers, we probably should tell them that a triple peel is a manoeuvre that a player can do, in which, in the croquet strokes, while he's making hoops with his striker's ball, he is actually putting his partner ball through the correct hoops in order. And it's a triple peel is the last 3 hoops of the game that the other ball has to make, so that they peel partner through 4-back, penult and rover on the way to the peg, and then hit the peg with both balls to finish the game.
And a triple peel is like the perfect round in snooker, or the perfect game in 10-pin bowls. It's sort of like the pinnacle of what you want to do. So to put it in perspective, if Ken's played 1,500 games and he's done 300 triples, he's been perfect 300 times. It's still very, very hard to do, even when you're that good.
Yes, and if your opponent hits, of course, you don't get a chance to complete your triple.
That's right, yes. You take the other player out of the game completely. Well, Ken looks like he's got into a good rhythm.
Yes, this is not the perfect position from which to make a hoop approach, but he's made a perfect hoop approach.
Little snug
that ball
there.
took a little bit of wire. Of course, the hoops are only about a millimetre wider than the balls, and they are stainless steel set firmly in the ground, so there's not a lot of give and not a lot of room. So if you're not accurate, the ball's likely to not go through. But both these players have made their hoops from lovely positions, and nobody has stuck so far.
Yeah, there's been good follow through on their swings. A lot of top spin, keeping the ball's momentum moving forward through the hoop.
Yes, it's important to treat the hoop. Treat the hoop like a ropey, isn't it? So that you swing through, make sure that the ball has enough oomph to get through the hoop. Ken playing very neatly here.
Certainly is. Sometimes when you try for a rush at the hoop, if you're not close enough to it, you can hit the ball slower, and then you'll collect a bit of wire, and then you will stop in that hoop. Both of them have avoided that.
Yes, the first rule is make the hoop, isn't it? Don't worry too much about what happens the other side.
That's right. Ken wanted his black on the other side of the yellow there, but it's certainly something he can correct.
Another hoop approach from an awkward spot, but again, this will be fine. It's a little split. Oh, no, it won't be fine.
It's definitely pulled up short.
A little bit more grass just there.
Greener there. Yeah, a little bit more, a little bit thicker. Affects the speed.
Players do need to read the courts a little bit. It's like golfers.
So he's trying to scatter shot, and he's done it successfully. So he's sort of trying to make it as
scatter shot. Scatter shot is an escape, I guess, isn't it, Alan?
Yes, it's like, well, I'm in real trouble now, so I'll make it as bad as possible for Chris if he hits.
Yes, Ken didn't want to leave the ball in the court, so he took the opportunity to hit his last shot into the other ball to shift it away, because he doesn't get another turn, another hit after that. It isn't a ropey, because that ball was what we say is dead. It had already been used. Now, Alan, just notice Chris's backswing, how crooked it is.
Okay. Chris has he curves his mallet, does he? We'd need to see it from behind, I think, to see really how crooked it is.
Yeah.
That's
the mallet is twisted when it comes through, and if his timing is good, the shot is very accurate. But if he's not relaxed now, gets a little bit tight, then the mallet hasn't straightened up when he makes contact, and then he will miss.
That's quite similar to Trevor Bassett. He has a big curve on his mallet. Yes, it was close.
Perhaps not as extreme as Trevor's, but definitely a bit of a hook.
We might get a better view of it here. It's only doing a gentle shot.
Pretty good in that one. Yeah, in the bigger shots, you'll see it more.
Okay, so he's hit with the red, which is the one he wants to use. Well, another chance for Chris to extend his lead now.
Yes. Ken will be disappointed because he would have expected to make 9, and we certainly expected him to. But it's not all perfect position for Chris. It's a long way from that corner 3 where the balls are back down to hoop 1, but still he's on the court. Ken can't do anything about it.
Good opportunity to load hoop 2, getting a rush to 1.
Yes, it's a big shot though, isn't it, to try and be accurate on that blue to get your rush to 1. We'll see how he goes with this. Again, it'll be just one good croquet stroke and off he goes.
Chris looks to have a good rhythm. Like he stands up and he's just walking straight into his shot. It seems to be a little bit pacier than it usually is. And I think that means he's got a pattern. Like normally he's a little bit more stop-starty. I think he's got himself into a really good rhythm. Like just his shot routine seems to be better than it has been in the past. It's good.
He's looking very comfortable now. So a bit more tilt on the mallet because he's got to get that red ball over to blue. There's a nice low to 2. Yeah. I wonder what's happening with the other ball. You got the rush?
Ooh,
rush.
Not quite.
Not quite. Mm. Oh,
the cut rush, or the pass roll, as some always call it.
Oh dear. So he was trying for a cut down to hoop 1, and unfortunately nothing connected.
It's frustrating when that happens. You give it a big whack and you just miss the ball, and it's like it feels so frustrating.
It's only
off by a little bit.
Yeah, the positioning of the balls is not too bad for him. Ken's further apart than Chris is. We're almost back to where we were before.
Yes, a bit of cat and mouse going on. Till someone gets it. Now, if Chris is feeling aggressive, he'll play the red. The conservative, sensible thing would be to play the yellow and set the lawn up. So we'll get an idea of where Chris's mind is at in a moment. Take the game on, or do you maintain control?
I think Chris will play red. He knows that Ken's very capable, and if he can land this shot, then he will be away again. And there it is, playing with confidence. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a very good sign if he's taken that shot on. It's funny, you can send messages to your opponent by your choices you make, just by and that's certainly a good one. It's a good one to send. It's like, I'm playing positively, I'm gonna try and beat you, rather than sort of be in front at the end.
Yes, he's showing that he's going to take the shot that will give him the best option of playing the break that he wants to play. He's not going to have Ken dictating to him. He's going to take these shots, and it's well worth it. The payoff is great. So he now has to do a long shot up the court again and try and get back to hoop 1 to make the hoop.
Oh, he's given that a whack. Oh no, it's okay. I thought his shoulders suggested that he hit it too hard, but it might have just been a camera angle.
Yeah, I think it might have been a bit offline, Alan.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Yeah. One more thing about the triple peel. It's called a peel because the person who first did it, last name was Peel. So he got the concept named after him. Yes, I think it was I don't know if it's Nigel or someone Peel. Yeah, but their last name was Peel. So they pioneered it and they did it. So the term was named after that player, which is you'd have to be happy about.
There's a few examples like that, isn't there? And what about the Duffer Tice? Was that a Mr. Duffer?
I'm not 100% sure, but I certainly hope so. Apparently, yes, we believe it is the Duffer. Yes, I know the Hogan roll is a chap called Joe Hogan, and that's a very large roll shot to get going to hoop 3, loading, getting to in front of hoop 1 from the corner. It's called a Hogan roll. So yes. And the grips that some people use, the Solomon grip that Ken was using, that's named after a Solomon, last person who played last name Solomon.
So was the Irish grip an Irish player?
I'm not sure, but I use it. So
you?
What grip do you use? Yes, I'm an Irish person. Yes.
I'm a standard grip.
Okay, named after John Standard? No.
So Chris plays with the Solomon grip. Solomon is both hands with the knuckles facing forward, and standard grip is the non-dominant hand at the top of the mallet, knuckles facing forward, and the other hand below it facing the wrong way, knuckles facing back.
Yes, fantastic takeoff. Well done, Chris. Get that second ball going. Makes this hoop.
Stalking in, making sure that he's standing on the right line. Nice.
Now, he
swing.
does have an opportunity to start for a triple peel here. So the term stalking the ball that you just used, Trish, that refers to getting yourself behind your line of play and lining everything up. Is that correct?
That's right. And Chris does it very well. So you do that when you're about to hit a single ball stroke. Walk away from your ball so that you walk in on the line. So that Chris uses it well for running hoops as well. Nice split shot coming up, loading towards 3 and getting a rush on the ball to 2. And he's done that.
Prefer the red to be about half as close again, but Chris won't be worried about that. He's got a good this distance roquet. I call what's called awkward distance roquet, but he does that these shots very well, so there shouldn't be any problem for him at all. Yes, definitely stalking again. Oh, good grief.
But it didn't work.
Okay. I've officially got a commentator's curse now. I'm very sorry, Chris. I will no longer claim that I don't curse my people I'm commentating on.
It was, as you said, the red was just a bit too far away. So you call that part of it right, but I really did think that Chris would be fine with hitting that. But this is what happens even at this level. So Ken now has a shortish roquet to get himself back in the game.
It is. Looking at Chris's body language, though, I think he was quite surprised he missed it. So I don't think it's a problem. Like sometimes the balls do that to you. You know what I mean? Like it's bad for him, but I don't think he was nervous. I think it just missed. If you understand what I'm trying to say, it's like he was a confident shot, just didn't happen to hit. So
yeah, he did do his normal routine. It just didn't hit. Now Chris is looking there to make his decision. Yeah. Well, he's decided that he'll go for that double.
He wants to play the red. Well, the yellow is nestled on the boundary line, so it's not in any dangerous position. So if he hits with red, the reward's good.
It does give a fair bit away, though, because Ken does need to make it one, and yellow's down there. But it was worth the gamble because he also had 2 balls at the next hoop, or the next one hoop. So there was a big payoff if he made that connection. He didn't really have anywhere to run away to, so the best thing is telegraph he's going to attack, and that's what he did.
Ken's strike the black. Now the question is the blue ball for hoop 1 or for hoop 3? I think it's hoop 1.
Blues for 1. If you look at the scoreboard there, Alan, the 0 for the first for Ken, that's blue, and 3 for the second B is for black. Chris's red is 1 and yellow 9. This match has been going for about an hour. We play two and a quarter hour games in this event, so there's still plenty of time. Players can make a break of 9 easily in 20 minutes.
Like Ken's just setting up the lawn.
Ken's going to put the balls in places that Chris doesn't like them to give himself the best chance of continuing after Chris misses. Chris, of course, will be sitting there working out which shot he's going to take because he's not planning to miss.
Ken's being pretty defensive there. I think he's expecting Chris to attack. Although he might be completely wide, so Chris won't have a choice.
I didn't see Ken check to see if it was wired. By wired, we mean that red and yellow can't hit each other because of the hoop in the way, the wire of the hoop. Chris is almost thinking out loud there, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's planning to run away. Chris is only responsible for the yellow. He's not responsible for the red. So if there was a wiring lift, it would only be with the red, but I think he's open on everything. Chris wants to run to a corner. So he's basically said, well, I've got no options, so I'll retreat and hopefully Ken will make an error.
Yes, he'd be looking for a place that's not good for Ken, and it's just out of the corner, which will mean that he has a chance to get a ball behind it if he needs to. And Ken must have completely wired black and blue from red. Chris didn't have a shot there. Now black is for hoop 3.
I thought black was
nothing's really where
anyway.
Sorry, for 4, yeah. Oh, sorry, that's what I meant. He's made 3.
That's an example of that. Wow.
Yeah, that's a good run.
Earlier in the game, you said Ken could do a rush from a long way away, and he just did. That was a very impressive shot.
Yep. Yep, a yard apart. Ken can rush. He quite often sets a lead with his balls a yard apart. Most of us would try and make them about 18 inches, but 2 feet, but no, Ken can manage it. He's looking now to take black across to get a little rush on red. Just a dinky shot. And those are Ken's specialties, those little shots. That's what you were saying. He gets those dolly rushes when he needs them.
It's precision. Just, yeah. Precision and power. Oh, and then by cursing him, he hits the peg.
Too much.
I'm doing a terrible job.
Furniture on it.
So what does that mean?
Poor fellow. He finds out that I said that, he's going to come and say, have a word to me. Oh, dear.
Well, he's on plan B. He's got a load on 5 now, and all he needs is a rush on that yellow ball to 4, and plan B is perfect. So we'll see how he can go with this. This is quite a delicate shot, isn't it, Alan?
Okay. Didn't do. Oh, well, he's quite yes to get behind that ball. Well done.
Yes, if the black ball had gone out, then it would have been the end of turn. So he's finished up just a little bit short. He really wanted the rush to hoop 4. Not a bad cut, Alan.
That's a very nice cut. And if he happens to get in front of the hoop, he will have a rush to hoop 4 as well. So it can be turned into his advantage very quickly.
This is where the grass caught him last time, was a bit short.
A fair stalk happening on this hoop. Gathering his nerves and, oh yeah, bit of an angle. Tough shot, but
very gettable, but opponent on the other side and could hand over the break, so he'll be careful with this one. Lovely camera angle for that.
oh, shot.
Ooh.
Does he have a return rotate? No. Plan B again.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if he can hit the red.
If he doesn't have a backswing, he can't be going for yellow, so he's deciding which of them he's going to hit. Checking the line there because the hoop's very close to the leg. The ball's very close to the leg of the hoop.
Ooh. Again,
He's
great
quite
camera.
convinced that he has a line. Yeah.
Just got to get past that leg. Oh. That's, yeah, tough when you're in that situation. He made the hoop and did the hard work and then just not enough clearance. But I guess the
very
angle
frustrating
caused him.
There's a lot of interaction with the players at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah, it definitely is. Certainly a tussle. And seeing that curve mallet there when he's swinging back now.
Yeah.
Good shot.
About 10, 12 yards, that shot. Hit it more or less dead centre.
So does Chris attempt a break, or does he try and bring out both of Ken's balls and set up the lawn? What would you do here, Trish?
Oh, well, he's for hoop 2 with red. The balls are on that side of the court, so I think I'd keep going.
Yeah, I think that's the right approach.
We caught a glimpse of the cameraman down there while Chris was lining up, and that's the camera that's giving us those really great camera angles. So there it is, the view from the camera that we just saw. Thank you for that.
That's a fine takeoff. Had to get past the hoop 5 and get to the boundary line. He's done that very well. So again, a bit of a choice.
Work to do to build the break from here, but it's still
he
possible.
could blackball. Well, I mean, he could conceivably put the black ball behind hoop 2 as a receiver, going to blue, and then put blue over to hoop 3 and try and get in front of the hoop that way. Or he could try and put black over to hoop 3, getting the ball in the corner. So it depends on how he likes to build his break. I think he's going to... Yeah. I hope he does the black ball behind hoop 2. And
yeah, the angle for going to 3 is quite big, and it's harder to control the position of red going to blue with that wider angle. I think you're right. It'd be better to do the load behind 2, go to blue. Yep.
And he is doing that.
Nice shot, Chris.
And it is good because if it all goes wrong,
you called it, Alan.
He can retreat to his yellow ball. Well, thank you. More
yes,
knowledge
it's good play,
of Chris's good tactics.
It's also good tactical play, isn't it?
Yeah, because if it doesn't go well for him, then Ken has to move 2 balls. And he's got a better chance at a break too. So it's going to be it's a good percentage option for Chris. And this is a shot that you practice if you can.
The focus on this will be red in front of the hoop, red in front of the hoop.
Yes, that priority ball. And you want it in close enough that you're not scared. You're very confident of running it.
That's right.
Looks good. Come on.
Oh, wow. Very good shot, nice. I think. Cheers. Chris is a very determined. Chris is a very determined practicing player. He does go down to his club and work on routine shots, and that is one of the routine shots. So he would have done that a lot to make sure he gets it right.
Well, he's done a good shot. He deserves the hoop, so let's hope he. Very important shot.
And not just the hoop, Alan. It's saying not just the hoop, it's the break, but he did all the hard work. He's not happy with himself at all.
Yes, that's a gun to the head. It really, it went to the wrong leg and everything. He must have had a thought in his head at the last second that troubled him, you know what I mean? And didn't redo it.
Yes. Did you notice if he did a big stalk for that one? I didn't see it.
He had a good stalk, but he was quite quick to hit the ball, and the ball wasn't hit with enough follow through as he normally does. But the ball did hit the leg pretty quickly, so just something happened.
That crooked swing.
Well, it was a big moment in the game, an opportunity to win the game, or at least get himself in a very strong position. So I think just got himself muddled, which is very easy to do. That's what makes the game so hard.
So Ken's thinking about heading for hoop 5, and he's got a rush down there. He may choose to pick up yellow first, but with that rush, he might just go straight to 5.
Yeah, I'd be tempted to go straight to 5. It's certainly pointing that way. Oh, he's made a liar of us. But it's a great result anyway to get behind yellow from there.
It is, and he can't do much with yellow. Hasn't with blue in going to yellow. He can only get blue in a little bit. There's not a lot of room down there.
true, but he hasn't had much court time, so big rush, move a few balls around, and get the nerves out, get the rhythm, the pace of the lawn with a few big shots. It might just be,
Yeah, get the rhythm.
So he has to, get the rhythm. He has to start making some hoops. Otherwise, he'll lose.
We're more than halfway through the time for this game, so yes, Ken does need to get a wriggle on. Lovely rush. Where do you think yellow will go after this?
Well, just because I've had a bonus second or so, probably the left of the hoop and then rush it out to red. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, gee. Wow, I think everything went, motioning he had a hill to deal with.
Yeah. Ooh. Little jump, perhaps. Looks like it.
Tough shot. Well done.
Nicely done. The players use the jump when the hoops are...
Do you think that's a follow-on from the days when the hoops were higher at the top? In the old hoops, that made a lot of sense because the hoops weren't as tight at the top as they were at the bottom. But with the quadways, they're the same width all the way. But people still use that jump method to make those angles.
I think it's to do with putting the spin on. You can make the ball connect with a spin higher up so that it spins through. And I think that it's easier to get that spin if you're doing a jump action. What do you think?
Okay. I think that sounds like a very good idea. I've never, I do them sometimes like that. I've never known exactly why. But that makes sense. I like it.
Well, it got him out of trouble anyway.
It did. And he's getting great rushes to his next hoop.
Yes, he chose not to bother about red. He had no intention of going to red to use it for 6. He was going to always make 5 and 6 using the yellow ball. This is one of those shots of Ken's, Alan, where he manages to get the rush, but the red's a bit in the way. He wants to rush red back towards one back.
And he can't promote yellow close enough to 2 back.
No. But he's got the important thing. He's got the rush.
That's right. And if he can get a rush out of 1 back, then the break will stay tidy.
And there's a ball still down at 3 back, the blue that he left there earlier. We might have a look at the Croquet scores at the moment to see the position of these players. Ken and Chris both undefeated at this stage.
Obviously got to rush out to the 3 back ball, the blue.
That's handy.
Very handy.
Yes, nicely positioned. Okay, there's the leaderboard. Okay. Ken slightly ahead on hoops.
So Greg has now had He must have lost to Lewis this morning.
Yeah.
It'll be pressure's going to be back on Chris now. Soon Ken will set a leave, and then we've really got ourselves a good game.
That's right. We've got
Tension-wise.
2 blocks. We've got 2 blocks playing here, and there will be a final. It'll be the block winners who play off. So it is quite important that the winner of this game has much more chance of being the semi-finalist or the finalist.
So it's just the top for two number ones play against each other from each block.
I believe so, yes.
Oh wow, that is high stakes then.
Yeah. Yes, on a 2-day event, there isn't a lot of time to play semi-finals or quarterfinals, so it's the block winners.
Where the game can be so cruel. You've done all that hard work and it comes down to 1 little millimetre going your way or not.
Well, Ken's just 1 hoop off completing his 9 and setting the lead, which will put the pressure on Chris, taking the lift and making sure that he does connect.
The reverse diagonal, perhaps.
Not sure.
Oh, no. He's still got to make hoop 3. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought he'd already made 3, but mistake. Plenty of time to set up a standard diagonal.
And Ken will be well aware that Chris wants to play the red ball, which is for hoop 2. So he will actually be setting the lead with red near hoop 2, so that red, if it picks up, is having to go away from its hoop.
Yes, certainly set up for that. There's a lot to think about when you're in your when you're going around the lawn doing the break. It's not just about getting everything in the exact right spot. You've got to get the exact right spot for a reason.
But you've still got to concentrate on the actual ball that you're hitting, and don't let your concentration lapse, because that's when the small mistakes get up. So Ken making a nice, neat approach to this hoop to guarantee that he'll run the hoop and then set the lead.
Yeah. Get all those other distractions out of your mind. Get that good shot. Yeah.
So he's going to be tucking yellow close into the peg and then using blue to go back away to the boundary, leaving Chris only long shots. That's what he wanted, isn't it, Alan? So that he can get that yellow close in, as long as blue's not in the way.
And yes, he's almost got the wire already, so he just doesn't have to do much adjusting. Very, very well played.
He's just got to make sure that he can still hit blue once he gets yellow in position. He would like to be able to rush blue away, but he might end up having to roll it away.
Oh, Look at that. That's a lovely spot.
Well,
It's
Red's
a
certainly
fine
not going
lead.
to be able to hit yellow. Yeah. So Ken's just tidying up the end of his break now with a really nice tight lead. He's going to roll those two balls into a position where yellow can't see them and neither can red.
Okay. He's got to rush out in the lawn too, so nice and threatening.
I think
Basically saying,
Chris might, that's right, Chris might take the short shot here, but with yellow tucked in so close to the peg, I don't think Chris can get a rush to hoop 2, which is what he needs. So even if he hits either blue or black, yellow is not rushable. He's going to have a look at it anyway.
Yeah, yellow rushable to 1, which is great for Ken, but not rushable to 2. So it's a very good position for it. Almost giving away a double with red, a big long double, if you wanted to use it.
But even if he does, as we say, he can't rush yellow to 2. But he may choose to take the shot anyway and separate the black and blue for use later, and then try a roll from somewhere near the peg when he hits yellow. It's quite a dilemma for Chris.
So he's going short shot. Although he's walking away from the short shot.
Yeah, shooting through yellow perhaps.
Yeah, might be shooting through yellow. It's quite a defensive option. So presumably if he misses the ball, it'll end up in corner 3. Okay.
Yeah,
definitely shooting at the yellow.
Going for that. Yes, calling the referee so that it's quite clear. Referee will be able to judge if it's the ball.
Yes, if Chris careens into the peg and misses the yellow, he'll have both balls on the lawn, and that will be good night, Irene.
Yes, this is a very important shot. It's about 45 minutes to go in the game, and that's just a clean miss.
I think the peg might have worried him.
I think Ken's taken a little break, so it'll be a while before he comes on. There's about 45 minutes to go in the game, and at this critical stage, Ken able to continue his break with the ball set with a nice rush into the court and yellow able to be rushed to 1, then Ken could just cruise around. Chris would be well aware of that.
Well,
at the moment,
we might use this opportunity. Okay, right here. Yep. Yes.
Okay, well, at this stage, I'm just about due to go off commentary, and I think Gareth is available to come in and have a chat with you. So, Gareth, you're there, aren't you? Oh, maybe he's not. So I'll just wait a minute till I hear from Gareth. And
no,
we'll
I
watch.
am here.
You
Maybe,
are there.
oh dear, no sound.
I can hear you, Gareth. I heard you before.
Okay, so
For the listeners and viewers, we
yeah,
are all
so
in different
Trisha
locations.
foxed me there by saying she couldn't hear me, but I am audible, I believe. So I will come in and join this fantastic commentary that Trish and Alan have been giving us for the last hour and a half or so. So I entered a really, really amazing stage of the game with Ken rushing his black ball up to the centre and loading hoop 2 while getting the rush on the yellow ball. So thank you very much, Trish, for your fantastic work this morning. It's been a really amazing game, and I hope that you're able to follow the rest of the game this afternoon.
Thanks, Gareth. Thanks, Alan, and good luck with the rest. Bye.
Thank you, Trish.
So, Alan, it's been a classic game, hasn't it? It's Chris making that first 9, and then a lot of scrapping, and then finally Ken being able to come back on and complete his 9, and now get going with his second ball.
Yes, the second ball is the key. If he can get through this hoop, he'll be looking very good.
Nervous sort of distance, but he's been playing and he just scrapes through. Will he be hampered on this shot, do you think, Alan?
We're definitely hampered. He's asked for the referee to join in. So he's on a bound by raising his mallet up in the air. He's asked the referee to come and watch the shot. We'll do a couple of practices and then wait for the referee to mark the balls and see if what's possible.
That's right. So he has the traditional little poke around, but very careful to call the referee out as quickly as possible, assuage any concerns from his opponent that he's going to rush and take the shot, and out comes the referee to seed the lawn with some markers.
Yeah, he's certainly marking very thoroughly. But
there's about 6 markers down there.
Yeah, it's very important the ball's put back in the right position. So looks like he's got.
Any special way of playing this, Alan?
I can't see how much room he's got. He maybe should put his hand through the hoop and hit it straight. He might have asked for the hoop to be tapped in a bit because he might be getting some obstruction from the carrots. But it might just be a case of just hitting the ball straight and not faulting. But I need to see a bit more.
Are you allowed to do that? If you think that the carrots are getting in your way, can you ask for them to be tamped down, or do you? Or I would have thought that you had to just take the lawn as you find it.
No, you do. You can ask them to be hammered down a tiny bit, like within where they should be. It was like just a straight stroke.
A big shot here for Ken.
He might have to sweep it.
Decided he's going to sort of sweep it instead. So what are the rules on the sweeping?
Okay. Well, he just done it very quickly. He can't use any part of the hoop as a pivot for the mallet, so he has to only hold the mallet. He can't rest on the hoop at all, and it must be a clean stroke. You may only hit the ball once, if that makes sense, because sometimes you can hit the ball twice and get a different outcome, which of course is a fault. But yes, a lucky break for Chris there.
It
towards the
was,
level.
but interestingly, it was the yellow ball, which of course is the ball that Chris has already made 9 hoops with. Do you think Chris would be tempted to make another 3 with this, or do you think he'll be just setting up the lawn?
I think he would be tempted to make the other 3. Certainly with half an hour to go, he might not get another opportunity to make hoops. So I think he should take the opportunity to make the 3 hoops now, especially with the black where it is. It's certainly easy to get a break going. Well, not easy, but possible.
I guess there's a possibility that he could wire the blue and the black across hoop 2, because the black is, I think, quite favourably placed for that with the thick wire between them. Maybe he'll think of that. It doesn't look like it though, does it, from the way he's shaping this shot?
Yeah, I think Chris is like, I need hoops and I need them as fast as I can, which I fully respect. Then again, maybe
he might be doing that. He's he just got an unkind kiss. Oh, that was very unfortunate for him, because I think he was going for the wiring option there, Alan.
Yes, I think he was now too. It's not the end of the world though. He just needs to separate the black and the blue, so that, I mean, it's going to be guaranteed that Ken will be moving the blue, given where that is, and give himself a rush to the hoop. So.
Yes, and the blue will be moving. Ken will be moving the blue next go, of course, because as you can see, there's the red clip on top of hoop 2, and Ken will not want to leave his blue ball there. So Chris knocking the black ball down towards hoop 4 while going towards his own ball around corner 3, and that's a lovely split shot, wasn't it?
It was a lovely split shot. Chris just making sure that blue and black can see each other, so that you see where he puts the rush. Will he put the rush to his hoop, or will he put the rush to the black ball?
Yes. What would you do here, Alan? I mean, I guess you know that Ken will be moving the blue. So where would you set the rush here to?
For me, because it's nice and close, I'd probably set it to hoop 2, based on the fact I get to use my own ball on the other side, and I'd feel calm about that. But Chris looks like he's setting it down the lawn to the black.
And he's setting it, the red and the yellow balls very close, right tucked up in the corner there. So if Ken shoots at him and misses, Chris won't be able to generate a lot of space, will he?
No, he won't, but the dolly rush will give him the power that he needs. I think Ken's only option is to shoot blue or black. Yes, he's going to have. He can't. Maybe he can't get a swing on the blue either. Yeah.
He's thinking about it. It's always good when your opponent walks on the lawn and they have to have a good think.
Yes, you want to give them a couple of choices, not no choice. Not one choice.
Well, it looks like Ken is shaping to hit blue at black. Oh, great camera
Very
angle there.
Ken.
Fantastic.
Totally untappable.
Shoots, it's on its way. It's going. Oh no, it's curving to the left, and it just goes on the south side of hoop number 4 and out towards the corner. Brilliant camera angle there. And Chris with a bit of work to do now, Alan. He's got to somehow get hoop 2 with his red. It hasn't got a rush that's pointing towards hoop 2. He does have a rush that's pointing towards hoop 3. And if he was quite brave, I guess he might clonk the yellow towards hoop 3 and then try and engineer a rush back up to 2 from the black and the blue down here at corner 4. But what do you think would be the best line of play?
Well, I think he's only got one line of play in that he has to make it off black. But the danger with making it off black is that the yellow will be quite close to the blue ball. But by setting that rush, he really only has this choice. He sort of made his bed before the start of this turn. You know what I mean? Like, so he has to stick with this line of play.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's
going to,
as you pointed out, he's actually rushed down towards the black. It's got a very nice pace on that ball to get the perfect rush on the black. So he's given himself every chance here of crafting the red into just the right position. But in fact, instead, he looks as if he looks as if he's thinking of taking off towards the blue. Okay.
So he'll be trying to.
Well, this is interesting.
Put blue to hoop 3. Yeah, it's a little bit more. It's a bit more faffing around, but
yes,
it might work for him.
Well, we've got about 35 minutes left to play. So the game delicately poised here, with Chris now about to play this very important shot, loading hoop 3 and getting a rush on the black towards hoop 2. And what makes this doubly difficult, apart from the distance, is the fact that hoop 4 is in the way. So pretty difficult, Alan.
Yeah, a very difficult shot. He might be satisfied with setting the lawn up again. But every time you set the lawn up again, you're giving Ken another chance to hit you. So
that's right.
You do that so many
this
times.
This time the yellow ball a bit more exposed, although it is protected by the hoop 4 if he does do a leave on it. Let's have a look to see what happens. Nice shot by the looks of things. The blue making its way up towards hoop 3, and I think he's definitely got visibility on the black, but it's a bit flat. He hasn't quite. He's going to have to cut it to get it up to hoop 2. And we saw Chris misjudge a bit of a fine cut earlier in the game. This time he gets it nicely, and that black ball is speeding on halfway up the lawn between hoop 1 and hoop 2, and that will present Chris with a roll shot to get the break going.
It's straight.
Pretty good outcome if he manages. Yeah, a good outcome if he manages to get this, though, Alan, because the hoop 3 is nicely loaded, and hoop 4 indeed has also a reception, a pioneer.
Yes, big reward if it comes off. And he needs
very,
to be nice
very
and
big
close
reward.
to the hoop. So he's nice and close to the hoop. He won't be nervous about running the hoop.
Well, I think he's going to achieve that. Look at that. That's a fantastic shot. What a brilliant shot there from Chris. Putting the red ball about 2 feet in front of the hoop. The black ball perfectly positioned as a reception ball. All hoops loaded. Really nice play.
And
through he goes. And he even gets a rush now to wherever he wants that black ball to go. So a really pivotal moment in the game. And all started by... Yeah, carry on, Alan.
I was just saying that decision to take on that shot and really attack that roll was very brave. But fortune favours the brave, and he's done it, which is really good. It's fantastic, positive croquet. You know?
Well, he should be in a very good position now. He'll be cognizant of the time, about 30 minutes left on the clock. So plenty of time for either player to make an all-round break. Do you think he would be thinking of tripling here, or it would be more sensible just to make 12 hoops?
I think more sensible to make 12 hoops. the game hasn't gone exactly the way he wants, and the ball just went a little bit too far then. He hasn't got the exact control he needs to be doing a triple at the moment. So 12 hoops makes a lot of sense. It'll take up a lot of time and put a lot of scoreboard pressure on Ken's last shot. So, I think
definitely the case of getting
maybe.
hoops on the board is an excellent strategy. And as you say, Alan, it consumes a bit of time as well. He was a bit unlucky with the kiss on that blue there, but he's managed to rescue things, and he has a reasonably straightforward hoop coming up.
And he should be able to get a lovely rush back out to behind the black afterwards. He's thinking a couple of shots ahead nicely, which of course he would. But I definitely think Chris is playing a lot more positively lately, or certainly today than I've seen in the past. So it's good. Yep,
he's looking very confident, very assured. He's only had a couple of shots that he'd rather forget. Ken hasn't been able to fully capitalise on those two, and Chris now motoring along quite nicely. He's got a nice pioneer at 4. He's got the black ball well open in the centre of the lawn, and as long as he plays a decent split shot here that loads 5 and gets his red ball towards the black, he will have the balls all under control. So we've had a fair amount of interaction in this game. Both players leaping off the seat to come onto the lawn as their opponent has broken down. And now the time has come for Chris to really just calm things down. That's a nice looking shot there. He's going to have a rush on the black down south into the lawn. So excellent opportunity. Look at the curve of his bat as it goes back. It's quite amazing, isn't it?
It is. It is.
So rushes the black down to south of hoop 4. That's a really nice shot. Gives him every possibility now of loading black as a better pioneer for hoop 5, whilst getting onto the yellow. So the state of play in this game, of course, is that both players have taken 1 ball round 9 hoops, and Chris has now started his second break, and Ken had a second break going, but was really unlucky in just dribbling through the hoop and having a hampered shot, which was almost impossible for him to make, leaving Chris the opportunity to come back in. So that's how we've got to where we are. Chris has now loaded a nice looking pioneer at 5 and has a reasonably nuanced shot that he has to make here. He'd like to see that yellow just flick to one side of the hoop or the other. What he doesn't want to do is put the yellow into the jaws of the hoop. That would be less desirable, and he's managed to negotiate that very nicely. So Alan, I gather that your time in the commentary booth is coming to an end, and that you'll be replaced by Kerry-Ann Organ. So do let us know when that's going to happen.
Okay, well, Kerry-Ann's ready to take on the reins right away. So
ready to go.
I'll say thank you, and please enjoy.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
your brilliant work this morning, and hope you can stay close to the play and enjoy seeing the outcome to this game.
I will, Gareth. Thanks for that. Have a great day.
And good afternoon, Kerry-Ann.
Good afternoon, Gareth. Hello.
Well, you joined us at a great stage. Joined us at a great stage in the game. Chris has managed to get on the lawn for his second break, and he basically has all the balls pretty much where he wants them. He might just come down a little bit to further use the blue, but certainly classic break sort of position. Oh, he's just put that yellow up halfway. Any observations from what you've been of the game so far, Carrie-Anne? You know these players very well.
Yes, I do know them very well. No, Chris looks really solid. Playing some really nice shots with croquet.
Yes, he's looking in his groove now. He, as often happens in these games, the first player will come out and make a break. So after about 25 minutes, we've often got a 9-0 scoreline, and then it's really common for a game to turn quite scrappy, and then for it to re-equilibrate round about now. So this is a classic sort of game, sort of structure that we're seeing here, and it's Chris that's managed to take advantage of the second break. But there was a moment back there where Ken looked as if it would be him. It was just that really unfortunate little dribble he had through the hoop.
Yes, that was unfortunate. And you're correct in saying the second break is always hard to get going. You almost have to tell yourself to reset and to say, look, I've done the 9, but the job's not over yet. So it's a matter of just refocusing and getting the second break going.
It is a remarkable thing how often it's so easy to make that first break, and you think, "Oh, this is good. I'm on a roll. I'm going to do really well." And the opponent then misses the leave, and you think, "Oh, great! I'm back out of my chair, and now I'll make my 12, or I'll try and a triple or something." And it just doesn't happen. It's really, so you're absolutely right, Carrie-Anne. There's something really that you have to tell yourself about that second break. I haven't quite mastered that in my own game yet, so I'll look forward to viewers' advice on that.
But Chris is looking really good. He's got all the balls in court. He's got a nice load on hoop 6. He's got a nice tight load on 2 back. So just has to hit yellow and then popping that up to 1 back, going to blue.
Absolutely. And everything that happens for Chris at the moment is a bonus because he's making hoops, he's increasing his score on the scoreboard, and he's running down time. And Ken is sitting there, ruining that bad luck he had. So, it's win-win-win for Chris as long as he stays on the lawn and keeps just steadily maintaining this cadence. The interesting thing, though, Carrie-Anne, is that approximately even if Chris was able to make 12 and finish with his break with just a few seconds left, Ken is still in with a chance, which is the really wonderful thing about this game. And something that you know very well, beating your opponent after the bell. So,
yeah, sorry, Garth.
That's quite all right. It's a pleasure to see people playing brilliantly. So Chris just doing these little nuanced shots around Hoop 6. His 1 back Pioneer, Carrie-Anne, is a little north, isn't it?
Oh, okay. I thought it was a nice one, but it might have been just the camera angle.
Oh, it's probably not as bad in real life as it's shown on the mini map there, but I'll just readjust that. Chris now with 2 balls down at 2 back, and Anything special here, Carrie-Anne? It seems it's a bit unusual to have both the balls down there, isn't it?
Yes, I'm not too sure what he's trying to do. Maybe he just wanted it tighter load on 2-back.
I think maybe he was worried about the fact that the yellow is a bit high, and that he was so he's looking for a rush on the black so that he can improve his chances up at hoop up at 1-back.
Yes, that's it. Yep, you're correct there. Now he's actually
So
behind
nice play by
yellow,
Chris.
so he can actually approach it. Yes.
Yeah, that's a really nice little sequence of moves he's played there, because he's now able to get his red ball north of the yellow, and that means he'll be able to rush the yellow down towards 1-back. Whereas previously he might have been faced with a very long takeoff. Now he's just faced with a pretty friendly split shot. So those of you who are not familiar with the strange and exotic ways in which we call these hoops, the first 6 hoops are just called 1 to 6, as you might expect. But then as we turn around and run them in an anti-clockwise direction, instead of doing the sensible thing and calling them 7, 8, 9, and 10, like they do in golf croquet, we give them weird names like 1-back, 2-back, 3-back, 4-back, penultimate, and rover. So it's one of the unusual but charming quirks of association croquet. A little bit more jargon, but this is basically hoop number 7 that Chris is running now. We just call it 1-back, as I suppose it's the first one on the back circuit. Chris smoothly through there. A little bit like golf, I suppose, Carrie-Anne, where you have the front 9 and the back 9 in ordinary golf.
Yes. He's got a nice
Everything
small
going
shot on
really
yellow.
nicely for Chris here.
Yeah,
Just,
he's looking good. All balls are in court.
Yeah.
He's got 2-back, nicely loaded.
How much time is left in this game?
This is the real danger, though, isn't it? When you have the balls so perfectly like this, and particularly on this axis, this sort of hoop 1, hoop 2 axis, where everything looks great, but if you make a mistake, that's really perfect for your opponent.
Yes, I hate having everything loaded and you do a silly mistake and it's like giving the game on a platter to your opponent. Very annoying.
Well, Chris has certainly got everything laid out nicely. He's even got the rush on black, which he takes beautifully, a lovely solid middle of the ball clunk that sends the black ball to the western boundary pretty much level with the blue ball. So absolute regulation textbook stuff here. About 17 minutes to go. So he should finish this break in the next 10 minutes, and that leaves plenty of time for Ken to come back. But so it'll all depend on the leave that Chris manages to engineer.
Yes, it only takes one hit, one roquet, and you're away.
Now, because the yellow isn't perfectly placed at 3-back, I think maybe he's looking to put the black there as a pioneer as well. And that's what he does. He's now got 2 lovely balls by hoop 3.
It's always a good idea to double load a hoop when you're not satisfied with your load. As you hit in, you know, all balls turn grey. So don't be scared to double load hoops if you're not happy with your position.
Yes, if you've got two balls close to each other, then you've got to rush to anywhere. Oh, he dribbles through. Kazzy left himself hampered on the blue. Oh my goodness, what a moment in this game. Chris comes through the hoop. He was very tentative, and now it looks like he doesn't have a clean shot on the blue. Referee comes out. I think that's Chaz Quinn there, and he'll seed the lawn with markers. But Chris may decide that he's not even going to take it. What do you think, Kerry-Ann?
Ooh, this camera angle looks okay, but yeah, not too sure. It must be a tight hoop, or must be some mounds over the, you know, the hoop area, because this is the same hoop that Ken snuck through and had a hampered shot coming the other way, running hoop one.
Absolutely, it's a real deja vu here, isn't it? On this hoop, it looks as you say though, Kerry-Ann, that looks a bit easier than we first. Oh no, he's backing away from it now. The reason why Chaz has put the markers there is that if Chris plays a shot which is judged a fault, then Ken will have the option of the balls being replaced where they were, and of course, therefore, it's important that the position of those balls is properly mapped. So two referees out there now, and the reason why there's two referees is that one of the referees will watch what Chris is doing with his hands and body, and the other referee will look at the contact of the mallet with the ball. So it's very important that Chris doesn't have his hands on the lawn here. He shoots and he gets it. Now all the referees like that. They confer and they love it. So everything clean. Chris can continue with his break. A nervous moment there, but very interesting bit of drama.
Yeah, it was a good shot, actually.
Yeah, it looked very tight, didn't it?
It's always a
You're
drama.
absolutely right, Kerry-Ann. That hoop obviously a bit haunted at the moment. Both players having to play hampered shots through it. Now just sizing up the angle.
It's always exciting when you have two. Exciting when you have two referees on the lawn. You think, oh, what's going on? But that's a good shot. He's loaded four back. Yes, loaded four back nicely and going to yellow.
Yep. This is looking pretty good. He just needs to touch the yellow. Oh, he can make the hoop from yellow if he chooses. I thought he might just touch it and then get a lovely rush on the black, but he's actually pushed the yellow into a position where he could take his approach shot from there. Maybe he didn't mean that. So we've got another 13 minutes just about. Now, normally we see the players finishing a break after 9 hoops, but in this case, Chris is going to go and make all 12. And of course, the reason for that is that if you do that with your second ball, if you've already gone through the penalty hoops with your first ball, then you won't be giving contact anymore. And also, the consequences of being pegged out are not as severe. So the player on their second break will generally aim to take the ball all the way around. So interesting, Kerry-Ann, that it looks as if he is thinking that he wasn't totally happy with where he'd play the approach shot, or he doesn't want to leave the black behind. So he looks as if he's going to try and bring the black back in for his approach.
Yes, he'll rush black to the 3 back, do a hoop approach, sending black up the court. Because once he runs the hoop, he can turn around and hit yellow, his partner ball. But priority is just to keep the break going. So whatever gets you closer to the reef, you just take it.
Absolutely. And particularly after that little scare at two back, he won't want a repeat of that. He'll want to be able to come through this hoop with some conviction and make sure that there's no grabbing of the ball in the jaws of the hoop, and he does that with great success. And he can generate a bit of space for himself now, Carrie-Anne. He can knock this black over to the boundary.
Yes, it's great to have all balls in court, and sometimes you can get so tight that you don't have any movement to load things. So what Chris has done is rotate that ball out to the boundary a little bit, and that enables him to promote black in court, going to yellow. So still looking really good here.
Yeah, and interestingly, he's actually put that over towards Rover, which is I wasn't quite expecting that. I thought he might do what you said and just put the black ball into the middle of the 3-back, 4-back sort of line, but he's actually played it so that the black ball has gone towards Rover instead.
Maybe the angle was kinder that way, because he had to navigate 3-back hoop to get behind yellow. So priority is get the rushes, keep the break going. So now he can load penalt with yellow, going to blue.
So, yep, the sequence coming in is going to be 4-back, penalt, Rover, all strange, weird and wonderful names that we give to 10, 11 and 12. Must have been great fun conceiving these all the jargon of this game.
Must have happened over a few drinks, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so. Probably glasses of Pimm's. Now, yes. Chris has got a nice little opportunity here to go through 4-back. You can see the other clips on 4-back there that tells us the story of the nines made by both the yellow and the black. He clips the blue, and he has pioneers all over the place. So he's in very, very good shape here to get to the peg. He'll probably put the blue ball around peg height as he goes to the yellow. He's looking around as if it's the first time he's ever played croquet, but there he goes, and that's exactly what we said he'd do. Not as perfect on the yellow as he would have liked. He's giving himself little angles to come into these hoops. It always makes it a little bit more jittery than being straight in front. Getting to a very interesting stage of the game, though, with 7 minutes, just a bit over 7 minutes left. Even though the score looks pretty dire for Ken, of course, very, very doable for him to come back in and eclipse Chris's total.
Yes, well, if if Ken can hit the leaf, get in, go around and peg off, well, he'd be one ahead. So very interesting. So
very
Chris is waving now. He's
Chris,
wanting to confirm the time.
Asking for the time. Yeah, he was gesticulating at his wrist as if to say, how long to go? But he's played this break at a good cadence. He's kept things moving quite smoothly. And as you say, Carrie-Anne, the really big thing now is the lead. The leave is everything. If he does a leave with maximum distance on it, he'll have done the best he can, giving Ken the least possible chance. If he doesn't, then Ken is more than capable of coming in and, as Kerry-Ann said, beating Chris's score.
It just shows you the importance of knowing the time of the game, so keeping track of the time. Because if you had maybe only a minute on the clock, Chris's other option is, instead of setting a leave, he could finish his 12 and peg one of his balls off, only giving Ken 3 balls to make the 12.
That's right.
Yes, it's very interesting, yet you need to be conscious of many things as you go around.
You do. And of course, the other problem is that if you're playing someone particularly brilliant, they might do a 2-ball break against you. And then, and so.
Well, it's very important to practice your 2-ball breaks, your 3-ball breaks, and your 4-ball breaks. You would never know when it comes up in a game.
That's absolutely correct. So Chris very nicely placed. He's got the balls completely and utterly where he'd like them, to do a nice diagonal spread leave with maximum distance. A nice sort of flattish one. So looking extremely composed and in control of these balls. Yep. Should be quite easy for him now to snooker the black and the blue balls across the peg. You just almost see the trajectory of the black just going off to the left and having the peg between it and the blue. Just 4 minutes left.
I need to practice. Yep. I need to practice this leave. I'm always nervous that I'll leave something open. So. Yeah.
Well, the temptation is to put the black a bit too close as well. Sometimes getting the distance between the black and the blue is just as good as getting them wired. Because the problem with leaving them quite close as they are now is if he gets this next little sequence wrong, then Ken has a much shorter shot. He's quite happy he's leaving them where they are, and that's a really great outcome. They're nicely wide. Yep. Yeah, they're wide as they are. He doesn't even need to go to the blue.
Yeah.
Well, what a great break by Chris, and all made possible by his initial really fantastic roll up to hoop 2. Everything was very composed about it, except for one hairy moment at 2 back where he had an extremely challenging hampered shot, which caused a bit of excitement with the arrival of 2 referees. But he negotiated those tricky waters, and since then it's all been plain sailing. Oh, he's going back for the blue, Kerry-Ann. Oh, and he gets a hit on it as well. Oh my goodness.
Ouch.
Well, that is quite unexpected. As a result of that, the yellow ball has come a little bit further into the lawn, but more importantly, he's croqueted the blue. Wouldn't it have been amazing if he'd actually put the red onto the peg? That would have and actually come off. Is that what so he did he wasn't he was live on the blue. So
yes, he
was. Do you think he's thinking of pegging himself out here, Kerry-Ann?
No.
1 minute to go.
I think. 1 minute to go. Okay, that might change.
Yeah,
okay.
I think he's gonna peg himself out here. Yep. And indeed, that's what happens. Oh, he's left the... That's interesting.
Yeah.
He pegs
It's
himself
all
out,
open.
but he leaves the blue open. Amazing. Well, he's given Ken an opportunity here because the yellow is off the boundary, and the black has good visibility of the blue. The mini map is slightly wrong, but not too wrong. Ken can play with the blue, which is the one that he wants to play with in order to match Chris's score of 13. So that's yeah, that's interesting. He's actually looking at the yellow. He's actually going to go for that one first. Even though the black is a bit closer, there's a bigger reward for getting it because the black is more exposed afterwards. Time about to go. Could be his last shot of the game. Shoots.
Ooh,
Just
that
misses
was
to the right. Just misses. Wow.
very,
Well, by
very
my
close,
reckoning,
that was.
the clock is just about to go now. Well, big moment of drama there. He might be thinking now, maybe I wish I'd gone for the black instead, but I guess it would have been more difficult to have crafted the break from that position. Now we just better check here whether the bell went off. So Kate, our producer, tells us that she thinks Ken will get another go. The bell would have gone when Chris was on the lawn. So we'll just, I guess we'll get some confirmation of that. So Chris's job now, of course, is to make things impossible for Ken. Would he be at all tempted to make any hoops with the blue?
Yeah, well, no.
I think we've got the answer here. He's going off to corner one. Okay, halfway up the boundary there. Ken, of course, has to play with the blue. There's no point in Ken playing with the black ball. The most points he can make with the black ball is 13, and that wouldn't be enough. So he has to play with blue. And he has to shoot at the yellow, really, but Chris might have wired him from that. He might have put him in a position where hoop 5 is in the way of that shot. That would have been quite a clever thing for him to have done. Go and pick a spot on the western boundary, which is wired from the blue. But, and he sort of has, but Ken can see just enough of it. So massive shot here after the bell. Shoot. It's on its way. It just misses. And that's the end of the game.
Well, pretty close, wasn't
great
it?
Game of croquet.
Yeah. Well done, Chris.
Fantastic play by Chris. And that puts him in the box seat for the final because, of course, the winner of this group will go through to the final. No prizes for coming second in the group. Just the winners of the two groups will play in the final later this afternoon. So a very big result for Chris because before this game, both he and Ken were on the same numbers of wins. Both had a flawless 5-0 record. And that means that it's now likely that Chris will get there. However, there is one more game left in this block. And of course, if Chris was to lose that game and Ken was to win his last game, then it would mean that Ken may still go through. It would all come down to net hoops at that stage. In fact, maybe we can get a look at the leaderboard for this group and the other one, so we can get an idea of how things are panning out. But that was a great game, Kerry-Ann.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable.
Yep.
Some tricky habit shots there and a well-maintained break by Chris. And some very close misses by... Yes.
So this leaderboard here is slightly out of date because, of course, Chris has just beaten Ken, and he's now on 6 wins, and Ken's stays on 5. And the net hoops, of course, now will favour Chris as well, because not only did he win the game by, I think, about 12 hoops, but also that will double in the net sense, of course, because Ken loses the on the equation too. So there's still a chance, though, for Ken to get to the final. If he wins his last game and Chris loses his last game and the hoop count is favourable, then Ken could well find himself in the final. The game that you see in the background, we'll just get a word from our producer Kate to tell us who's playing, and Greg Hill and Lewis Mercer. Greg Hill is playing the red and yellow balls, and he is well behind, I think, at the moment. We've got the red and yellow on hoops 3 and 5, whereas Lewis is on peg and penultimate with the black and blue. So it looks as if we might be getting towards the end of that game. No, Lewis is actually the red and yellow, and Greg is the black and blue. Time has gone in this game, so it sounds like it might be a bit of a formality at this stage.
Yeah, it's a good
So it's interesting to see what the leaderboard is from the other group. We've seen how Chris is now well top of his group, but the other group, remember there are 2 groups being played in this tournament, and the winner of each group is going straight through to the final. Nothing for the second place players.
It's a great day today. Sun's out, wind's low. Courts are looking
Yeah, it's
really
unusual
good
for Cairnlea, isn't it, Kerry-Ann? Often the conditions at Cairnlea are blustery, fierce, very, very difficult to control. But the lawns are looking lovely. You can see there the quality of the lawns. A lot of grass on the lawn, but all nicely mown. The striations from the scarifications that they did about a month ago are still present, though.
Yeah. Yes, we used to call it pleurisy plains, but all the buildings have been built up around the lawns now, so decreases the wind a little bit. But yes, well known for many conditions.
Oh, that ball's fallen a little short on the approach, makes it more difficult to get through, but very nicely through it came. Yes, Cairnlea can be extremely challenging, and often you see some very, very low scores as a result of the wind and the rain, and sometimes the oppressive heat as well. The heat can be extremely challenging in this part of Cairnlea. Here's a view of some of the exotic buildings set against that lovely blue sky. That obviously Melbourne enjoying a lot better weather today than we are in Sydney.
Check, can you hear me?
So we might have some highlights to show you, which would be great. But we do have a really great prospect coming up in our next game, which is Kevin Beard, who we haven't seen in this tournament yet, but we've featured in both in events covered by KO in both golf croquet and association croquet. But that game will come up against he'll come up against Simon Watkins, who we've already seen yesterday playing in a thrilling game, which interestingly enough, Kerry-Ann, Simon didn't manage his time very well, and was actually caught out at the bell, being on the lawn when he really needed to play the shot and get off.
Yes, it's very important. And time flies when
So
you're
yes,
having
it'd be
fun.
great
You don't
to see-
realise how. You don't realise
No, you
how
often
know
don't
time.
realise. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It can be quite difficult when you're thinking of all the permutations that are going through your head. What layout do I need? What's coming up? Where do I need to leave the balls? And time is ticking, and often very difficult to keep track of that. So Greg here, sort of just going through the motions. He can't really catch up. His black ball is far too way behind, so he's really just trying to rack up some points to make sure that his net hoops is as favourable as it can be. So I think if we were able to see some highlights reel, maybe from a previous event or from yesterday, then that might be more compelling than watching this. Although there are interesting things that we can see here. There's a classic sort of approach shot coming through the hoop to get the reception ball, and having a pivot and pioneers. So yes, highlights would be great whenever they can be mustered. We'll just have some highlights from the Brian Reiter Challenge. This was an event played a fortnight ago in honour of one of the great contributors to croquet in Australia, Brian Reiter. And we had a star-studded cast for the on the playing side, and there was some fantastic break play and some fantastic moments of drama, which I hope are captured in this highlights reel we're about to show you. Well, good morning from Cairnlea.
And so he has a rush with this blue ball onto the black ball towards hoop 1, which is this hoop down here with the blue top on it.
And that will leave the black ball on what we call the non-playing side of the hoop.
There was a good opportunity that he'd roquet the black ball after running the hoop. So he's turned it into a hoop and rush, basically.
And that black ball is speeding off to hoop number 3. And at the same time, the blue ball is ending up near the red ball. So it'll easily be able to roquet that.
Yeah.
Oh, he is. Oh, one.
And
oh, look at.
No. That's
It's gone out.
Blue
It's
ball
gone
can
out.
go out on that shot. Well, you don't see that very often, the rover peel going out, Gareth. So you've really got to push this blue towards this western boundary, the black ball to the western boundary, and avoid hitting the yellow ball.
Which he's done, unfortunately, because he has
That's
just
right.
kissed the yellow.
Oh, he's clipped the yellow
Yeah.
ball. Okay.
Yeah.
Changes it a bit.
All right. I think he's going for the red and yellow. He is, and he's got it.
And he's
Oh,
It's a good roquet.
Yeah, that was a very good roquet, wasn't it? So this is a really important roll shot, and that is great. That is really nice. Yep, he's going to jump.
Just gonna keep it straight.
Here it comes. Yes,
Good shot.
nice shot, sir. So having made that roquet, it's now a formality for Kevin. Now has 2 shots to hit the peg. And look at the trajectory of the yellow there, Trish. The yellow is just beautifully placed now. The blue ball will behave a little bit unpredictably. Oh, but not unpredictably for Robert. It just sailed through, didn't it? And there's that wonderful rush on the yellow. That's a score that indicates you got in, you had some chances, but you weren't able to complete things. So well done, Robert. Get the black through and keep the yellow there. Oh, yes, it's a lovely shot. Lovely shot. Oh, Callum's hit nicely. So Callum's reward for this, you see, is going to be another roll at the hoop, isn't it?
Correct.
Oh, no, it's going to be a rush. It's going to be a rush. He's got behind the yellow. It's a lovely straight shot by Callum. Look at this. Look at this. Yes! What a roll! What a roll! Wow. Brilliant, wonderful stuff. He shoots and he hits. Great shot, great shot. Blue ball cannot swing at the red and yellow because there's no room for the mallet to move. So this shot that I'm showing with the line is not possible for the blue to do. So that's what Robert's attempting. So let's see how he manages to maneuver the blue into that position.
That's a great shot.
Isn't it? It's beautifully placed. Yep. And that's a pass through. You see how the acceleration of the red ball there was just that little bit extra. It's gone a little bit further than the yellow ball. Very, very important skill to have. He's got a little bit of work just to cut it up to one back. And he cuts it nicely. And he should be away. Nice shot. Absolutely plumb in front of the hoop. Oh, lovely rush. Yeah. Callum is in absolute motoring mode. Callum now to peel the black and get the blue through as well. And the black is beautifully, yeah.
Full advantage of this line of play. Oh, that's a great shot.
The winner with 7 wins, Robert. Congratulations, Robert. Great effort.
Well, fantastic to recap that amazing tournament that we witnessed a couple of weeks ago, the Brian Ryder Challenge. Really amazing, always amazing to see Robert in full swing. And of course, in that particular event, he not only won 7 games, he actually completed all of the games with triple peels. Just one wasn't marked against him because, as you saw on the highlights reel, the peelie came out over the south boundary, but he'd actually completed during the course of that tournament 21 peels. So absolutely incredible. Well, we're just waiting for the players to come out on court number 1 for a really intriguing game. Simon Watkins and Kevin Beard, 2 of the top ranked players in their group, and perhaps maybe we might be able to get a look at how they stand on the leaderboard. But I can tell you that as it stands at the moment, Kevin has actually been doing rather better than Simon. Simon, you'll remember we saw having a surprise loss to Malcolm Biddle yesterday. It was a great game, really lots of interaction, and it went right down to time. What we're looking at the moment is the leaderboard for the other group, where, of course, we know that Chris Grant is the most likely player to go through from that group. It would be good to know just whether or not Kevin is in an unassailable position in his group, or whether he can be caught up by Simon. So Simon, of course, both Simon and Kevin, incredibly experienced players, both very strong negative handicaps. And there we can see the position as it was, I think, before the last game. So Simon, very important that Simon gets a win in this, otherwise he's out of the competition. He needs not only to get a win, he needs to make sure that or rely on another player to get a win against Kevin later on. I'm joined in the commentary booth by Pete Landry. Good afternoon, Pete.
Afternoon, Gareth.
I hope you've been managing to catch some of this morning's play.
Very fleetingly on Croquet scores and not on KO, but it's shaping up to be a good finale.
Yes, well, the really interesting thing about this morning's game between Chris and Ken was that it had that classic sort of structure where one player makes a good first 9, but then it gets very scrappy. Looks as if the players are on the lawn and ready to start, so we might just adjust the mini map and get rid of the leaderboard and see what sort of shot Simon puts in. It looks like a super shot, Pete.
Oh, is it a high super shot? That's yes. The play yesterday was very similar to what you described, Gareth. A good first 9 by 1 or 2 of the players, and then a bit of a scrappy end, and that can be a little bit of the time pressure of short time limits, and some errors can creep in.
And just to acknowledge that we're just saying goodbye to Kerry-Ann. Thank you very much for your work this morning, Kerry-Ann. Deeply appreciated and fantastic to be in the commentary booth with you. So both you and Alan and Trish this morning done a brilliant job. So Pete, Kevin responding to the super shot by playing his red ball out to maximum distance on the eastern boundary. Is that the current modern way of doing it? I notice a lot of players go to corner 2.
I wouldn't say current, but it's widely used. It's probably used about 80% of the time. Simon's super shot's very high, so Kevin's ball is even higher than maximum distance. So it's logical for Simon to pair up, but he does give Kevin a double now from B-Balk, and not a very long double.
Yes, that's right. We can now expect Kevin to take his yellow ball up to B-Balk and to try for a shot that I'm indicating on the mini map.